Hey, welcome back. We are here answering your YouTube questions for Diesel Care and Performance. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my co-host, Billy Williams. We're here answering all your questions in the YouTube comments. And let's start it off. Today, we are covering every question under our Troubleshooting a No Start with a DB2 Pump Part 2 video. So, first up, we have from 3 weeks ago, Gary Matusavij. He says, I just did a tool cat with filter knocked off underside. It's so much air I ended up using a pump from sprayer I use on the asphalt, so okay, I'm going to stop you there. Yeah.
Gary,
we don't mean to judge.
We don't mean to judge, and I think that there may be a translation problem, maybe you used to translate or something, but I've read your question 3 times, and we
can't make heads or tails of it.
I am terribly sorry. Thank you for attempting to write in. If there's a better way to get your question to us, please do. But
yep,
this one was a little bit tough. We're going to take a pass on that one.
We appreciate it, Gary. We wish you the best of luck with whatever your issue with your diesel may be. Moving on, we have Astro Comical. I like that name. That's cool. He writes, what is the part called that maintains housing pressure in the pump at the top? Thanks for any reply.
Yes, that is called a return check valve. It is used in pretty much all diesel applications. Some people call it a constant pressure valve. That's what's referred to overseas. But if you were to call our shop, hopefully you call our shop or anyone and just say, I need a return valve for this pump, they'll know what you're talking about.
Yep. And again, you can reach our shop at 1-800-961-9290. And if you don't feel like talking on the phone, you can find us at www.dieselcare.store. Moving on, we have Rolando L. He writes, hi, I have a 1983 GMC 6.2 liter truck. It only turns on with ether. I let it heat up, but if I turn it off and try to turn it on again, it doesn't work. Please help. What can I do with the pump? And it looks like another user, Go-Kart Gang, took it upon himself to answer some questions, and they went back and forth a little bit. But why don't we pose the question to the man himself? What would you like to say to Mr. Rolando L.?
Well, I appreciate the question, and this is for not only for him, but for this is a common problem with 6.2s. And it most likely is an injection pump problem. Here's and this is a real shade tree way of doing it, but I strongly recommend doing it this way. Crank it up, get it good and hot, and turn it off, and then try to restart it. And according to your question, it won't restart. Take a glass of water and just cool the pump down. Just pour it on top of it. You're not going to hurt anything. And if it starts immediately, most likely you got a pump problem. Okay. So those pumps, they were known to have wear problems in the head. Not going to lie to you, Rolando, it's an expensive repair because it does require replacing that head. Probably looking at the $700-800 range. But that's most likely what it's going to be. Now, if you pour water on it and it doesn't restart, then you can start to look at some electrical issues, some other things along those lines. But you would be in the real exception. Most instances, that's going to be an injection pump problem. And Go-Kart, I appreciate you jumping in there as well. We're a small community. Probably a good point for us to say if someone comments on a video other than our staff or our technical department, we can't be responsible for what they say to do.
Sure.
There are a few comments further down where a couple of guys got into it. Hey, guys, y'all can discuss it among yourselves, but bottom line is just because you see it on our page, don't necessarily think it's gospel, because there's been a few things pop up there that
A little questionable.
Yes.
And we don't mean to doubt their abilities, but we just don't want them to be taken as representation for us. Moving right along,
I've got to stop you. This is the one
you wanted to do this video for.
Yes, when I read this, I was like, yeah, I've got to comment on this.
Okay. Well, then, we have quite an essay written here from Stephen Bean. He writes, should I read the whole thing?
No, let me tell you what Stephen's problem is, okay?
Okay.
Stephen started off by saying, hey, we should do one of these on the junk electronic DS pumps. And then he goes into kind of a litany of things that he doesn't like about the pump.
Yeah, I'm noticing he calls out quite a few people.
Yeah, and Stephen, let me say first off, you're not necessarily wrong in some of your finer points. I'd probably give you a 6 on some delivery, but simply put, you are right. That is that injection system was one of the worst produced in the history of fuel injection.
Okay, so we got that right.
The failure rate was literally almost 100%. Back in the day when I was a shop manager and we handled warranty for Standardine, this was all we did. We literally had to hire technicians just to work on these pumps that never worked on anything else because the failure rate was so high. The reason that we have not done a video, Stephen, to answer your question directly is, one, that was a 4-year pump. It was only out for 4 years, and Standardine walked away from it, and GM. So that there really is not a whole lot to put out there. And as far as content-wise, you really can't field service that. You know, we have disassembly videos. We have other things that help someone if they want to try to affect some repairs in the field. You can never affect a repair in the field with a DS pump, short of changing out a solenoid or a PMD. But I'm talking about the internals. So if you have this system, my recommendation is, if you're planning on keeping it, just do all of your maintenance. Try to keep everything up. Just try to baby that system as much as you can. I get questioned literally every week about converting it to a mechanical system. And we've contemplated having a discussion video just about that. And we may do that in the future. Let me give you just the finer points real quickly. One, it can be done. Two, it's very expensive if you buy all the parts new. And three, and kind of most importantly, is your vehicle worth a $2,000 investment to convert it? And that's a question that you have to answer. I have some customers that call me and say, I've had this truck since it was new. I love it, but I hate having to change a pump every 2 or 3 years. And I get it. What I recommend to customers is try to find an older vehicle, an older 6.2 or an early 6.5 that's mechanical, and get all of the throttle and linkage and all of the peripherals. And if you can get a damaged truck for under $500, you'll save a lot of money. And then get you a mechanical pump, and conversion can be done pretty much over a weekend if you have all your parts available. But you're going to, conservatively, you're going to spend between $1,200 and $2,200 depending on how you do things. If that's worth it for a 20-year-old truck, God bless. Go ahead and do it. But Stephen, I appreciate your comment, and then Mike, you followed up with a comment to Stephen, which I won't read on the air. But if you're out there, if you want to click on Mike's follow-up comment between him and Stephen,
feel free.
Feel free.
Yeah, we cannot stop you. Moving right along, This guy, Chewy 7062. I have to wonder if it's a permutation of Chevy there, if he's really that committed to it. Anyhow, he writes, he's
a Star Wars fan.
Or he's a Star Wars fan. That's possible. Anyhow, he writes, I need to find an injection pump for my 1990 7.3 IDI. I can only get 3 out of the 8 to bleed. I've had people say the pump is bad, but not sure.
Well, Chewy, and I didn't think I'd get to use that. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so, I feel like Han Solo when I can say Chewy. So, Chewy, here's what I would suggest to you. I would do a little bit more troubleshooting, and I'm going to tell you why. The 1997 3IDI system uses what we call common pumping plungers, which means the same 2 plungers that feed the 3 cylinders that are putting out fuel also feed the other 5. So if you have a situation where it's pumping on one cylinder and not another, typically that's not going to be an injection pump problem. I don't want to say absolutely that it's not, because there are some scenarios where that can happen, but it's not the most likely. What I recommend doing is isolating the fuel system, running it out of a separate source of fuel to where you bypass the chassis. And if you still have that problem, then yes, you've got an injection pump problem. But what you don't want to do is spend, $500, $600, $700 and then find out that it wasn't a pump. An isolation test you can do for 5 gallons of fuel and $10 worth of rubber hose. It takes a little bit of time, but like most things in life, it comes down to time or money. And in this instance, I think I would do a little bit more troubleshooting. But if you need to find a pump for that, I can recommend the perfect place. You can go to dieselcare.store. We have these available. Or you can call in 1-800-961-9290. You can email us at sales@dieselcare.net. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have YouTube. Just reach out to us. We would love nothing better than to sell you a pump.
And on that note, we will wrap it up here today. That's all the comments we have under that video. Keep an eye out. We will be doing all the rest of our videos that we have uploaded and answering all of your comments and questions. And if you have a new question that you haven't seen in the comments, feel free to reach out to us. Drop it in the comment section on this video, and we'll create an infinite feedback loop of videos and comments, and we'll just keep talking back and forth over and over until we're done. That's all for today, folks. Check back in with us next time.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm built out and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, because walking is most too slow.
All right, back to 1.